Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of Talk Exchange. Today we have with us Annette Petruzzi and Regina Kiernan, who are here to talk all about their event called Salute to the Bravest, happening out in Connecticut. And it's just a way to honor first responders and show appreciation for all of the hard work and sacrifice that they give to the community. I do want to note we had some slight audio issues today because they had to call in from their cell phone, but the message is just as good, and we hope you enjoy today's episode as much as we did, and we'll see you again next week.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Exchange. I'm Tracy Edwards, CEO of the National Exchange Club.
And I'm Christy Lindahl, Director of Communications.
Great. Glad to be back here, Christy.
I know. It's been a while since we've been in studio.
It has been. We've, I know, recorded a few episodes, so it feels like fall now. It feels like it's been a while. And I know the last time we were together, we did a recording with a member of the Toledo Fire Department.
Yes.
In observance of Fire Prevention Month. And he was full of great information.
Oh my gosh, he was a lovely man. I love talking to him.
Definitely. And I know we pushed that out already, so people are learning those tips. And then to follow up, we have one of the biggest events in exchange in all of the country coming up, and we're really excited about it. It happens this year on Thursday, October 17th. It happens annually in Connecticut. Yes. When this group hosts the Salute for Connecticut's Bravest. And our guests today have been involved with this event for quite some time, and I'm excited to hear about the history and then the plans for next week and beyond. So let's welcome Annette Petruzzi and Regina Kiernan, both members and leaders from Connecticut District Exchange Clubs. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Thank you for being with us. And I know we were having some technical difficulties which prevented you from joining us live and in person on the camera, but we're glad to be having the conversation with you. And thanks so much for your efforts in, again, spearheading this awesome event. I've been able to attend, and I was just telling Brad and Christy about the event. It's just amazing and such a great way to honor first responders, firefighters in October, and police officers in May. So, Annette, I know you've been involved, I believe, since the beginning. So tell us about when the Salute events started and how that just came together initially, if you would, please.
Well, actually, it started with the policemen. We did the Salute to Connecticut's Finest about 30 years ago, coming up on 30 years. And we thought we'd bring together all the honorees from the clubs in one venue, and this in the whole district, so we can get together and celebrate the policemen. 3 years later, we started the Bravest, which is going on. It's been 25th year coming up Thursday. We have already 300 people coming.
Wow.
And usually I don't get the reservations until the last minute, so we're expecting more.
I'm sure. Wow, fantastic. So this is very well known with the exchange clubs that participate, certainly, and with all of those fire departments and police departments, right? It must be something they look forward to every year, I'm sure.
Yeah, they do. Actually, we have the pipe and drum, the firefighter pipe and drum, lead the honorees in. They already have it in their calendar for the third Thursday of every October.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everybody is real happy about it. It's a good time. You've been there.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And in fact, I was telling them about that drum corps, and just, that makes you emotional just at the sight. And when you hear that first note, it adds so much to that event. So tell us how this goes with the planning for the clubs. I'm sure they have it on their calendars, but for an exchange club, when they kick their year off July 1st, how do their plans work to make this come together so that you do have those honorees lined up for the October event? Because that comes pretty quickly after a July 1st administrative start, right?
Well, they know that the date is for both, even in May. It's always the third Thursday of that month. but I send out a save the date, sometimes even before the September start of meetings, so that they're well aware of what's going on.
Oh, great. Some proactiveness.
We like that. Absolutely. I mean, it's good because it's so established that it's been something that's recognized that is a real highlight for them, I'm sure.
Yeah. I love, and for our members who aren't familiar, you've seen the pictures in the magazine and on social media. It's the members and the people being honored and, the people who are important to those individuals, but they're lined up on this beautiful staircase.
Yes.
It certainly looks like an event where people have been honored. So ladies, tell us what this means to the people, to the firefighters, police officers, the first responders who come in and receive these awards.
I think for us, it's an extra acknowledgement to them. It puts them in the limelight, even though I understand they don't really like to be in the limelight.
Yes.
Because I listened to that last podcast with Private Collins. And, he was very modest. He was very humble and saying that it's his job, and I'm sure they all feel that way. But when they get to this event, they're amongst people throughout the state, and actually most of them have been already honored or will be honored at a local event at their exchange club or at the exchange club. So I think it's something special for them.
Well, absolutely. And, I'm just thinking, too, as you're saying that, you're right about that, because not only do you give them an opportunity to come together and be honored, but you're giving them an opportunity to come together and be together with all of their fellow firefighters, and they probably don't get that opportunity very often, or if at all, other than at this event.
Yeah, and being so modest, I bet they don't share a lot of their own personal rewards and experiences with their fellow firefighters. So this is a way to tell everyone what they're doing.
Right. And plus they also, we have a speaker, and he or she will talk about the service and whatnot, or what we do allude that to, like who you have come this year.
This year for the firefighters, we have the chief of the Bristol Fire Department. And the speakers usually, what I want them to do is speak about what's pertinent to the honoree. So they come in and they do their thing, and sometimes it's wide awakening on our part. That's what the speakers come up with.
Yeah.
I bet it is. That's awesome.
Do you know anything? Are you willing to share any details about some of the firefighters being honored this year?
I have a list of bios if you want to look at them. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet.
We just thought maybe you could give our listeners
a sneak peek,
a sneak preview of who's being honored and for what circumstance.
Yeah, it depends on, it could be just somebody who helps out in the community. It could be somebody who did a heroic thing, like take somebody out of a house and save their life. It doesn't matter. It's that they're being honored for doing what above and beyond what they're asked to do.
So you ladies, this event has been going on for, you have one for 30 years, another for 25. How has it grown over the years? I can only imagine it's gotten bigger and, a nice oiled machine, but what's going on behind the scenes?
The event is getting more popular. We were up to 500 people who would attend. We're just starting to pick up again where we left off. Because people were afraid to come out after COVID.
Sure.
So, it wasn't as big a thing. But it is coming around again. We are going to open it up. In the past, it was just the clubs who had honorees that we would honor. But this year we are opening it up to other towns that don't have exchange clubs in them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What we want to do is bring awareness that exchange is out there, and we're looking for more people. So
That's a great way to do it, because our next question was going to be, what does this event mean for exchange? And I know it's just widely embraced by exchange clubs. And again, you're bringing these clubs together, but what a fantastic way to introduce exchange to those towns that don't have an exchange club. I love that.
Showing the value of exchange and inviting those people to embrace it.
Yeah, definitely bringing awareness to exchange is important, and that's a great way to do it. And I'm sure you'll have some people from those other towns that say, I need an exchange club in this town if this is what the impact that they have.
Most definitely. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we were a little late getting it out for this event, but certainly for the May finest, we'll make sure we hit more towns that don't have an exchange club in it.
It's really a wonderful idea.
It is.
Way to make multi-purpose out of your event.
For sure. Annette, I'm just thinking about you, though, because I know for you, this comes as second nature to you. You've been doing this for a long time. You have a really well-oiled machine. It's an awesome event. How do you feel leading up to it, and how do you feel afterwards? I can imagine, though, that's not just going through the motions and making it happen logistically. You're thinking about, wow, we had that kind of impact, right, on these people.
I am very proud of what we do. I really am. It's a great event. I go home and hit the bed and I sleep like a baby.
We understand that feeling, don't we?
No doubt. But it's a beautiful thing. And Regina, tell us about your participation over the years and how that's grown.
Well, I've actually been involved since almost the beginning.
Wow, fantastic.
I did not know that.
I don't think I was actually an exchange member way back when, but always would go as responsible entity to Cliff.
And she would help us. And
and then being on the committee all these years, my main focus on the committee is I put the plaque together.
That's a big job.
Sure is.
Kind of like the handy person for that. So,
and she's doing it on the morning of.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes the last minute. Unfortunately, it's like anything else when you start planning. You know, people are supposed to have a deadline to get things in, but they don't.
Right.
So, you know, we do come together at the last minute and get it done somehow. But
yeah, when something is that important, you put your all into it. That's
definitely.
for sure.
Well, just know that on next Thursday, October 17th, we'll be thinking about you. We'll look forward to those pictures. And we'll be appreciating both of you and sending our biggest congratulations on such a phenomenal event. I know it's going to be that way again. And I know that some people listening, you know, we have listeners from outside of Exchange and from all over, certainly, and they may feel connected to this event or want to learn more. They may appreciate your recognition of first responders. So how can people from around the state of Connecticut get involved with Exchange if they want to learn more about this event?
well, I think, you know, like with this podcast, this is new to me. And I did go on to the national site and pull it up. And I was pleased to learn that I didn't have to log into National Exchange Club to actually, you know, log into my member number or ID.
Yeah.
To view the podcast. It seems like if you just click on National Exchange Club podcast, you can go right into it. So I think we need to make people aware, whether they're a club member or not, that they can do that.
Well, absolutely. And now that you're aware, we look forward to you sharing that with people. And, you know, that's a great way to share the information. And you may not be aware, too, that from your phone, we have an app. You can access the podcast catalog from there as well. So, in fact, that would be a good thing for you to announce at your banquet and let those attendees know that they can hear the story and the history in your voices by listening to the podcast, which, as you point out, is accessible easily for anybody.
Most
That's
definitely.
a good idea. I think, you know, and it's funny because we just had a meeting and of course they elaborated that I'd be on my first podcast. So everybody's like, oh, we got to tune into that.
Yes, absolutely. I can feel the viewership and listenership spiking as we're from Connecticut. Brad will see a lot of feedback pinpointed in Connecticut.
I think it'll be a great tool if we get the memo out per se that they should click onto this or be, you know, part of it. We might get more participation in exchange.
Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I did see from our communications team, I know Olivia back at our office sent out the press releases for your use. And certainly that will help boost publicity of the event. I'm sure it'll be on a lot of the news stations. It's a big deal for communities throughout the state of Connecticut and beyond. That's the cool thing about Exchange being a national organization. The impact that you have there in Connecticut, has the ripple effect, and people appreciate it and do things similar to what you're doing. Not quite as grand, but certainly similar around the country. It's part of what makes Exchange great. But we certainly respect and acknowledge that Connecticut's event is certainly a signature event for 30 years and truly one of the biggest Exchange-produced events in the country.
Most definitely. Upon my employment, it was one of the first events I learned about.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, ladies, is there anything about either of the events, the Finest or the Bravest, that you haven't had a chance to mention that you would like to talk about?
I have a question other than that. Are there other districts out there, other states that do it statewide?
Not that we're aware of. I've been to a number of clubs that do it. I know in Lansing, Michigan, they do a large club event where they have participation from their local first responders, and that's a really awesome event. That is a bigger event as well, but certainly not as grand. I think logistically it's probably not easy for a lot of states to get together in this way. And we'd love that if other states would do it. And that's one reason we wanted to have you on. Obviously to recognize you and show appreciation for the work you do to draw attention to your event. But also, these podcasts are great for other clubs to listen to and get ideas. So hopefully a club that's listening now will say, hey, I want to do that. I'd like to bring that to Ohio or Michigan or South Carolina somewhere.
In the world of Exchange, that counts as networking.
Absolutely. It absolutely does. So for anyone listening, if you'd like more information, certainly contact us at the National Exchange Club or contact the Connecticut District Exchange Clubs that can be found on Facebook. I believe you have a Facebook page for the district, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
They can contact me, Tracy.
Awesome. We will have them contact the pros for sure.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, we really appreciate your time today. We appreciate the work you do for Exchange and being esteemed leaders in Exchange and for your production of this grand event. Any final thoughts for our listening audience that you'd like to share today?
Oh, you're welcome to come. Just let me know. Just not the day before, right? Yeah, just don't tell me the day before. I think it's a nice idea if people listen in the podcast and get information or ask for more information, because we also do, like the Naugatuck Club, we have our community champions where we honor a firefighter, police officer, educator, and our Citizen of the Year all at the same time.
Wow.
That's kind of like a prelude to this event. This is statewide, but we also have it club-wise.
And our club does the same thing.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah. That's what's cool about it is you have all those clubs doing the events that lead up to this event, right? Which is where you get your pool of honorees, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Nice.
Good structure.
Absolutely.
And Connecticut is unique in that their towns are not that far away from each other. And where we hold this event, it's practically like in the center of the state.
Oh.
So people from all over the state could come. So.
Right, that AquaTurf Center is a beautiful location for the event.
Oh, you just gave them a nice plug.
I was telling Brad about it when I came in. It's a fabulous facility.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. And we wish you the best with this year's event, both the one coming up in a few weeks here and the one in May.
And we'll look forward to hearing from you about how it goes and seeing your wonderful pictures and
Send you some pictures.
Please do. Absolutely. And we'll look forward to talking with you again as the Finest event comes up.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks for taking time out and joining us. And thanks for your work with Exchange. Thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to learn more about the Salute to Connecticut's Bravest on October 17th. If you're interested and available to attend, it would be simply wonderful. Otherwise, if you'd like to learn more about Exchange, please visit nationalexchangeclub.org. And thanks for listening to this episode of Talk Exchange.